Now, let's apply some of these great sounds and amazing technology and create a piece of music. Now, in this piece of music, I used the V-Synth GT in several different ways, and I'm going to go through each part and show you how I used it. The first thing that I want to do is I want to set up the V-Synth GT so the clock source is set to MIDI. So that means that my computer is now going to generate the clock, and it's going to be able to sync perfectly. So I have this particular sound, and I'm manipulating it through playing around with all the time trip pad and the D-beam and things like that. In this piece of music, what I did first is I sequenced everything using the V-Synth GT in single passes, and then just converted these pieces of MIDI data into audio data over here. So I just want to explain and show you a little bit about how I utilized each of these sounds in the V-Synth. Now, the first one of the things that I really love about the V-Synth GT is its ability to work and deal with sound design and manipulate the sound in totally different ways. Now, I have this particular sound. It has a very interesting texture, but if I use the D-beam, I get a completely different thing, and it's just a very versatile, and it just creates, it just gets the ball rolling for creativity. Now, the next thing I wanted to bring in this track was I wanted to utilize the AP synthesis and create a very realistic erhu type of performance, which is a Chinese violin. Now, with this, I again used the pedal to trigger the elements that happen between the notes. So if I'm playing, and if I use the modulation lever, then I can also bring in some more dynamics. So I have this beginning section that's sound design and also this erhu, and then I brought in some very, very synthesizer type quality type sounds. First was the analog bed that we talked about earlier. As one of the sounds, and also I wanted to really make the pulse stronger, so I have this nice little kick bass type sound to really give it some bump. And then also, what I did is I wanted to have like a synthesizer note that really that accents the downbeats. So I brought this in, and actually in this particular sound, I kind of thinned it out because the overall sound itself was a little bit too complex. So what I wanted to do was just get the bass note. And remember, I can manipulate things using the D-beam and the time trip pad. So I use that, and also once we get halfway through the song, I wanted to bring in more of a rhythmic element. And one of the nice things about the V-Synth GT is that there are many different types of drum kits as well. And each of these drum kits has an arpeggiated element that's connected to it. So if I wanted to play this on its own, I get this cool arpeggiated sound, but however, I want to just play the drum kit. So I turn the arpeggiator off. Now I have the drum kit. Whatever, okay? I can play anything that I need to. Then what I did here is that I used that technique that we talked about earlier about using the vocal designer to create syllables and sort of dynamics, expressiveness to what was normally considered a static type choir sound. But what I can do is that I can sort of bring life and make it sound real, make it sound like a real chorus, doing original material. For instance, here's what I did. I'm going to play these two elements, which is me singing using the vocal designer. You get the idea. Now, of course, it doesn't sound exactly like a choir, but when I bring in some choir samples from an existing library, now I can bring in a texture that sounds very, very passable. Okay. Now I brought in some other samples from existing libraries, like a ground casa sound and also a gong sound that just really kind of accents some of the elements to make it a complete cue for me. Now I'm just going to play the whole thing. Make sure I have all my other tracks muted. These are my MIDI tracks that I used. And now here's all my audio. And then here's basically the V-Synth GT in action. So this is just a taste of some of the versatility and the performance aspects of the V-Synth GT. Now, if you're looking for something that's new, highly inspirational, and it's great for sound beds, leads, loops, vocals, sound design, authentic melodic performances, of course using the AP synthesis, the V-Synth GT is something that you really must have.